Africa has long been painted in the global imagination as a land of scarcity, a continent struggling to meet its own energy needs, dependent on foreign technology and imports. Yet beneath this familiar story lies a hidden reality that few outside its borders have ever glimpsed: a vast, sophisticated energy network stretching across the continent, ancient in origin and astonishingly complex in design. Traoré, a leading African energy analyst and historian, has spent decades following threads of oral history, scientific inquiry, and clandestine records to uncover this network, which he argues has been deliberately concealed from the West. According to Traoré, what the world perceives as Africa's dependence on imported energy is largely a misconception, crafted and perpetuated by foreign powers to maintain control over African resources and knowledge. From the arid expanses of the Sahara to the lush equatorial forests, from the highlands of Ethiopia to the deserts of the south, this network interweaves natural and engineered energy channels. These are not the conventional hydroelectric dams, oil pipelines, or solar farms visible on maps and satellite images. They are hybrid systems, blending subterranean conduits, geomagnetic flows, and renewable energy nodes, many of which operate beyond the detection of standard measurement tools. Traoré describes nodes aligned with celestial patterns, where energy pulses synchronize with solar, lunar, and planetary cycles, effectively creating a living, breathing energy grid. This network functions not just mechanically, but in harmony with the rhythms of the land, almost as if the continent itself is a single, conscious system, generating and transmitting energy in ways that defy conventional Western understanding. The secrecy surrounding this network is no accident. Historical records reveal a pattern of deliberate suppression dating back to the colonial era. European powers, upon encountering evidence of these advanced systems, systematically undermined local control, extracting resources while erasing knowledge of native energy technologies. This was not limited to physical interventions. Records were destroyed, oral histories dismissed as superstition, and indigenous expertise undermined in favor of imported technology. Traoré's research uncovers how these interventions continued into the post-colonial era, as multinational corporations and foreign governments perpetuated the narrative of scarcity to maintain economic and political leverage over the continent. What emerges from Traoré's findings is a stark contradiction. Africa has always had the infrastructure, knowledge, and capability to power itself, yet the world has been misled to believe otherwise. Traoré first became aware of the network while speaking with elders in remote villages. They spoke in terms of folklore, of lines beneath the earth that hummed with energy, of tunnels that carried warmth, light, and even currents of power. At first, he approached these claims with skepticism, but repeated accounts across different regions piqued his curiosity. When he combined these oral testimonies with satellite imagery, geomagnetic surveys, and underground seismic scans, the patterns began to emerge. Certain regions, previously dismissed as barren or incapable of sustaining modern infrastructure, showed evidence of network hubs connecting distant communities. Energy flows appeared to follow geological and hydrological contours, rather than being imposed in linear, grid-like patterns as in conventional Western networks. The implications were staggering. The African continent had long been self-sufficient in energy production, relying on a system so subtle and adaptive that its existence could be erased from history, while continuing to function silently beneath the surface. This network is not merely a technological marvel. It is deeply intertwined with politics, economics, and social structure. Controlling information about the network equates to controlling power itself. Governments, both local and foreign, have long benefited from keeping its existence secret. Traoré points out that the portrayal of Africa as energy poor ensures dependency on imports, continued investment from multinational corporations, and influence over domestic policies. Yet in regions where the network is fully operational, entire communities have demonstrated self-sufficiency, powering homes, schools, and hospitals without reliance on imported fuel or centralized grids. Experiments documented by Traoré show that these systems can scale, connecting multiple towns over hundreds of kilometers while maintaining stability, efficiency, and sustainability. A key reason the network has remained hidden lies in its symbiotic relationship with nature. Unlike conventional grids, which depend on visible and vulnerable infrastructure, Africa's network is dispersed, adaptive, and resilient. Energy flows along natural channels, guided by geomagnetism, subterranean aquifers, and hydrological patterns. Soil, vegetation, and even microbial life participate in energy transmission, creating a dynamic system that Western sensors often misinterpret as irregularities or background noise. Certain mountains, rivers, and desert formations act as energy amplifiers or storage nodes, concentrating power at specific points and redistributing it according to need. Traoré emphasizes that this system represents a level of ecological and engineering integration, far beyond the centralized grids that dominate modern industrial societies. Historical evidence supports the depth of the network's sophistication. Traoré traces energy infrastructure back to pre-colonial civilizations such as the Mali Empire, Great Zimbabwe, and the city-states of the Swahili coast. In these societies, complex energy management systems harnessed rivers, underground channels, and stone structures to store and distribute power. European observers often dismiss these feats as ritualistic or primitive, failing to recognize their technological significance. Only now, with modern instruments and a willingness to integrate indigenous knowledge, can researchers begin to reconstruct the advanced engineering principles embedded in these systems. Traoré's work reveals that the network is not static, it evolves. Rural engineers and custodians maintain sections of the system, often without formal recognition. Knowledge is passed orally, encoded in stories, rituals, and cultural practices, ensuring resilience even when formal institutions fail. This approach has allowed the network to survive centuries of disruption, from colonial interference to modern corporate interests. In villages and towns powered by these channels, energy flows remain uninterrupted, providing light, warmth, and power where centralized grids might fail. In essence, the network is living, adaptive, and extraordinarily resilient. One of the most astonishing aspects of the network is its independence from fossil fuels. While Western systems depend on coal, oil, or gas, Africa's hidden infrastructure draws from multiple renewable sources simultaneously. Geothermal heat, solar alignment, river currents, and even piezoelectric forces within the Earth itself. This multi-source integration provides redundancy and resilience. Where conventional grids collapse under environmental stress or mechanical failure, the indigenous network continues to operate. Communities that rely on these systems have achieved energy self-sufficiency for decades, demonstrating that modern assumptions about energy dependency are both incomplete and misleading. The secrecy surrounding the network is also a function of control and protection. Knowledge is concentrated among a small number of custodians, who understand that sharing it indiscriminately could invite exploitation or destruction. Traoré himself has encountered resistance, threats, and bureaucratic obstruction in documenting the network. International interests, from corporations to governments, have a vested interest in maintaining ignorance about Africa's indigenous energy capabilities. Despite these obstacles, Traoré persists, driven by the conviction that the continent's future, its autonomy, prosperity, and global influence, depends on revealing and leveraging this hidden infrastructure. As part one of Traoré's revelations unfolds, a picture emerges that is both breathtaking and transformative. Africa's energy potential, long underestimated and obscured, is rooted in a network that predates colonial interference and continues to operate today. It is decentralized yet coherent, natural yet engineered, ancient yet modern in its adaptability. It challenges long-held assumptions about scarcity, dependence, and technological inferiority, offering a vision of self-reliance and sustainable development that could redefine Africa's role in the global energy landscape. In the coming sections, Traoré will delve deeper into the mechanics, strategies, and cultural dimensions of this hidden network, illustrating how Africa has quietly harnessed the power of its land and knowledge for generations. For now, Part 1 concludes with a revelation that is at once simple and profound. The continent has never truly been powerless. It has only been misunderstood, and until now, largely unseen. Africa's hidden energy network is not a relic of the past. It is a living system, maintained, adapted, and refined by communities that understand its subtle rhythms. Traoré's investigations reveal that across remote villages and semi-urban settlements, local engineers continue to manage portions of the network without formal recognition or institutional support. These custodians know precisely how to synchronize energy flows, when to adjust channels, and how to preserve the delicate balance between natural forces and human use. Unlike modern centralized grids, which are often rigid and prone to catastrophic failure, this network is dynamic, flexible, and inherently resilient. Its intelligence is embedded in both the land and the people who steward it. Traoré recounts journeys deep into regions that many outsiders consider inhospitable. In the Sahel, in villages surrounded by shifting sands, he witnessed energy flowing invisibly beneath the ground, powering homes, wells, and irrigation systems in a manner that defied conventional explanation. In the dense forests of the Congo Basin, ancient conduits followed riverbeds and tree lines, channeling energy over vast distances without loss. In southern deserts, nodes hidden beneath stone formations act as reservoirs, storing solar and geothermal energy and distributing it according to natural cycles. Everywhere he went, the principle remained the same. The network works because it integrates fully with the land, not in opposition to it. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this network is its independence from fossil fuels. While Western energy grids depend on coal, oil, and gas, Africa's hidden system draws simultaneously from multiple renewable sources: solar alignment, geothermal heat, river currents, piezoelectric energy from the earth, and even magnetic fields generated naturally by geological formations. This multi-source approach creates redundancy, allowing the network to remain operational even if one source falters. Traoré describes villages that have been entirely energy independent for decades, producing more power than they consume, and yet remaining invisible on official energy maps. Modern attempts to measure the output of these systems using conventional instruments often yield confusing results, as the energy flows do not conform to standard metrics. But for those who understand the network, the flows are precise, predictable, and extraordinarily efficient. Traoré also emphasizes the social dimension of the network. Communities that maintain these systems exhibit high levels of cooperation and resilience. Responsibility for energy is communal, shared across generations, and reinforced through cultural practices, stories, and rituals. The network is not merely a technical system, it is a framework for societal cohesion. Villagers coordinate maintenance schedules, monitor environmental conditions, and teach younger generations to respect the rhythms of the land. This cultural integration ensures that the network is protected from exploitation or misuse, while simultaneously strengthening the social fabric of the communities that rely on it. Another layer of sophistication lies in the network's hybrid nature. In many places, ancient conduits and natural energy flows have been augmented with modern technology, creating a system that blends traditional wisdom with contemporary efficiency. Sensors can track energy currents along subterranean channels. Turbines can be strategically integrated without disrupting natural harmonics, and storage nodes can regulate excess energy to prevent waste. The result is a decentralized, self-regulating grid that functions far more reliably than many Western systems, yet requires no centralized control or high-cost infrastructure. Traoré calls this a living network because it adapts continuously to environmental changes, community needs, and technological innovations. The implications of this hybrid system are profound. Urban planners and policymakers in Africa have long assumed that energy scarcity is inevitable, relying on imported fuels and foreign-designed grids. But Traoré's research shows that even cities contain hidden nodes of energy, often beneath streets, industrial zones, or abandoned structures. These nodes, largely forgotten, continue to function, supplying electricity to nearby areas without detection. Integrating these channels into modern infrastructure could drastically reduce urban energy costs, enhance resilience, and minimize environmental impact. Yet political and corporate interests often resist acknowledging the network, preferring to maintain a narrative of dependency that ensures ongoing control and profit. Geopolitically, the hidden network represents a potential paradigm shift. For centuries, Western dominance in energy markets has relied on the perception that Africa is energy poor, perpetuating economic and political leverage. Traoré argues that revealing and responsibly leveraging the network could redefine Africa's global position. By achieving self-sufficiency, Africa could export surplus energy, influence regional markets, and reduce reliance on foreign technology. But this transformation requires careful planning. The network is fragile in its secrecy and must be integrated thoughtfully to protect custodians and prevent exploitation. Traoré stresses that empowerment, not external control, must be the guiding principle. Traoré's fieldwork also uncovers extraordinary methods of energy optimization. In some regions, natural materials like specific mineral deposits or conductive plants are intentionally integrated into channels to enhance transmission. Watercourses are guided to amplify flow without causing erosion, and solar alignment is used to maximize collection during seasonal cycles. Even microbial life in the soil contributes to conductivity, creating a network that is simultaneously ecological, technical, and cultural. These practices, preserved over centuries through oral tradition and ritual knowledge, demonstrate an understanding of energy physics that rivals contemporary scientific methods, yet is grounded entirely in empirical observation and long-term experimentation. Resistance to acknowledging the network remains a major challenge. International corporations and foreign governments have historically had incentives to suppress or dismiss indigenous energy knowledge. Attempts to formalize or document the network have sometimes been met with bureaucratic obstruction, surveillance, or intimidation. Even within African countries, local authorities may be unaware of the full extent of the system, resulting in missed opportunities for integration and development. Despite these obstacles, Traoré continues to document, map, and advocate for the network, believing that transparency and respect for custodianship are essential to its responsible expansion. Environmental sustainability is another critical benefit of the network. Unlike industrial grids, which often degrade ecosystems and emit significant greenhouse gases, Africa's hidden network works with nature. Energy flows are aligned with natural cycles, minimizing disruption to rivers, forests, and soils. Communities using the network report higher agricultural yields, healthier biodiversity, and more stable local climates. Traoré argues that this is not coincidence. The network's design inherently prioritizes balance, demonstrating that energy systems can be both abundant and ecologically harmonious. Traoré also points to historical examples where the network supported large, sophisticated civilization. Pre-colonial empires like Mali, Great Zimbabwe, and the Swahili city-states relied on these energy flows to sustain urban centers, irrigation systems, metallurgy, and public infrastructure. European colonizers often dismissed these achievements as superstition or primitive engineering, documenting only what served their economic and political interests. By reconstructing these historical networks, Traoré reveals a continuity of technological knowledge that predates industrialization, suggesting that Africa's mastery of energy is not new. It has been quietly maintained and refined over millennia. In rural areas today, energy independence allows communities to redirect resources toward development. Savings on imported fuel, electricity, and infrastructure are reinvested in education, healthcare, and local industry. Villages powered by the network often experience higher standards of living than comparable settlements connected to conventional grids. This practical impact, Traoré notes, is a clear demonstration of how indigenous energy knowledge can drive sustainable development without foreign intervention. Traoré's findings, while extraordinary, are grounded in meticulous research. He combines satellite imaging, geomagnetic studies, hydrological mapping, and ethnographic fieldwork to produce a comprehensive picture of the network. The result is a system that is simultaneously technological, ecological, and cultural, a living grid that has survived centuries of suppression and exploitation. Its persistence, adaptability, and efficiency challenge conventional wisdom about Africa's energy capabilities and highlight the transformative potential of aligning modern technology with indigenous knowledge systems. As Part 2 concludes, the narrative becomes clear. Africa's hidden energy network is not just a historical curiosity or a local anomaly. It is a functioning, evolving system with the potential to redefine energy access, sustainability, and political power across the continent. Communities maintain it not out of profit or recognition, but out of a deep understanding of the land and its rhythms. Modern scientists, policymakers, and engineers are only beginning to grasp its implications. And Traoré's work lays the foundation for a profound shift in how energy, technology, and culture intersect. Africa, he insists, has never truly been energy poor. It has only been unseen. Its power has always existed, quietly shaping communities, civilizations, and landscapes, waiting for those with the knowledge, respect, and vision to recognize it. The more Traoré delved into Africa's hidden energy network, the more he realized that its sophistication goes beyond anything conventional engineering can easily replicate. It is a system designed with subtlety, resilience, and foresight, capable of adapting to environmental changes, human interference, and natural cycles in ways that modern grids cannot. In contrast to centralized Western networks, which are often vulnerable to single points of failure, the African network is decentralized, redundant, and self-correcting. Its design ensures continuity even in extreme circumstances. Droughts, storms, political instability, or technological disruption cannot easily compromise its operation. Traoré recounts numerous instances where this resilience became apparent. In the northern deserts, he observed nodes buried beneath ancient stone formations, capable of storing and concentrating solar energy for months. Even when surface-level systems failed due to sandstorms or heat, subterranean conduits continued to deliver power to surrounding communities. In the highlands of Ethiopia, energy flowed along geomagnetic lines, bypassing damaged infrastructure and automatically rerouting itself to villages in need. The network's natural intelligence is embedded not in computers or artificial intelligence, but in its very structure, informed by centuries of observation, experimentation, and cultural wisdom. The hidden network's integration with natural forces is astonishing. Rivers are not simply watercourses, but conduits of energy, carrying hydroelectric potential that interacts with geomagnetic fields and soil conductivity. Certain minerals naturally amplify and store energy, while particular plant species act as organic conductors, guiding energy flows along optimal paths. Even microbial ecosystems in the soil contribute to the efficiency of transmission. Traoré explains that these ecological participants are not incidental. They are essential components of a system deliberately designed to harmonize with nature rather than dominate it. In this sense, the network is as much a living organism as it is an engineering marvel. Field research reveals that custodians of the network possess knowledge of its rhythms that modern science has yet to fully quantify. Elders and engineers can read energy flows, detect imbalances, and predict shifts caused by seasonal changes or geological movements. They know which nodes require reinforcement, which conduits must be temporarily isolated, and how to channel excess energy to prevent damage. Traoré emphasizes that this knowledge is passed down orally and through apprenticeship, ensuring continuity across generations. Unlike formal education systems, which prioritize codified theories, This experiential method produces engineers who are intimately attuned to the land and its dynamic forces. Traoré also encountered examples of hybridization, where traditional knowledge has been enhanced with modern technology. Sensors are sometimes embedded along conduits to monitor flow, while solar collectors and microturbines are integrated strategically without disrupting the network's natural harmonics. These adaptations increase efficiency without compromising resilience. In many cases, villages using hybrid systems outperform nearby settlements reliant solely on imported energy or centralized grids, achieving higher reliability, lower costs, and minimal environmental impact. The lesson, Traoré notes, is clear. Aligning new technology with indigenous systems is far more effective than imposing foreign models that ignore local conditions. Geopolitical implications of this hidden network are profound. For centuries, Western powers have benefited from the perception that Africa is energy poor, perpetuating dependency on imported fuels and foreign technology. Traoré argues that acknowledging and leveraging the network could dramatically shift global power dynamics. Energy independence would allow African nations to determine their own economic and political agendas, export surplus energy to neighboring regions, and challenge the influence of multinational corporations. However, the network's custodians must be protected. Any reckless disclosure risks exploitation, appropriation, or sabotage. Responsible integration, Traoré stresses, is essential for turning knowledge into empowerment rather than vulnerability. In addition to political significance, the network has transformative economic potential. Communities with access to energy can reinvest savings into education, healthcare, agriculture, and small industry. Villages that harness these hidden flows often see improvements in productivity, social cohesion, and quality of life. Traoré cites examples where energy independence allowed local entrepreneurs to develop sustainable businesses, reducing reliance on external markets and strengthening resilience against economic shocks. In essence, the network is not just a technical system. It is a foundation for self-determined development, linking energy, society, and culture in a mutually reinforcing cycle. Traoré also highlights the network's potential to redefine sustainability on a continental scale. Unlike industrial grids, which often disrupt ecosystems, the hidden network functions in harmony with local environments. Energy flows are designed to minimize ecological impact while maximizing utility. Water, soil, forests, and even wildlife are integrated into the system's design, making energy production and consumption inherently regenerative rather than extractive. Villages powered by the network report healthier crops, richer biodiversity, and more stable microclimates. In an era of global climate crises, Traoré suggests Africa's approach could serve as a model for balancing energy needs with ecological preservation. The historical depth of the network further underscores its sophistication. Pre-colonial empires such as Mali, Songhai, Great Zimbabwe, and the Swahili city-states relied on these systems to power urban centers, irrigation, metallurgy, and infrastructure. European observers often dismissed such feats as magical or primitive, ignoring their technological significance. Traoré's research reconstructs these ancient practices, revealing an unbroken lineage of energy knowledge that has survived through oral tradition, ritual, and practical application. This continuity challenges the narrative of technological inferiority often imposed on Africa, demonstrating that the continent has long possessed capabilities that rival modern engineering. Traoré's investigations also reveal the network's defensive qualities. Its decentralized and adaptive design naturally protects against theft, sabotage, or overuse. When foreign powers attempted to exploit or dismantle sections of the system, energy would reroute, temporarily shut down vulnerable nodes, or concentrate in protected areas until custodians could restore balance. This self-preserving feature illustrates a level of foresight and resilience unmatched in most modern energy systems, where failure often cascades catastrophically. The network's security is built into its very structure, a subtle intelligence woven into the land itself. In urban contexts, remnants of the network persist, largely unrecognized. Beneath streets, industrial zones, and abandoned structures lie conduits that continue to supply energy to local areas. Modern infrastructure often overlays these channels unknowingly, creating hybrid zones where ancient and contemporary systems coexist. Traoré suggests that fully mapping and integrating these nodes could dramatically reduce urban energy costs, improve sustainability, and increase resilience against grid failures. Yet political inertia, corporate interests, and skepticism continue to obscure the network's potential. Traoré's work also underscores the cultural dimensions of energy. Unlike industrial grids, which treat electricity purely as a commodity, the African network treats energy as a living force intertwined with human and ecological well-being. Communities respect the flow, maintain rituals of stewardship, and pass knowledge across generations. This approach produces both technical efficiency and social cohesion. Villagers who manage the network are not simply consumers or operators. They are custodians of a system that sustains life, productivity, and cultural continuity. In this sense, energy is inseparable from identity, environment, and community. As Part 3 concludes, a pattern emerges that is both intricate and inspiring. Africa's hidden network is not merely a technical achievement. It is an integrated system of ecology, culture, and technology. It is resilient, adaptive, and self-sustaining, operating independently of foreign control while offering transformative potential for development, sustainability, and global influence. Traoré's research demonstrates that the continent's energy story has been deliberately misrepresented, obscured by centuries of colonialism and economic manipulation. Yet the network persists, alive beneath the surface, maintained by generations of custodians who understand its rhythms and purpose. The revelations of Part 3 leave a profound truth. Africa's energy power has never truly been absent. It has only been hidden, waiting for recognition, understanding, and responsible integration. The continent has always possessed the knowledge, infrastructure, and wisdom necessary to sustain itself and even thrive. The challenge now is to acknowledge, protect, and harness this network in a way that respects its custodians, aligns with ecological systems, and empowers communities. The hidden energy flows of Africa, Traoré insists, are a reminder that true power does not always reside in visibility or external validation. It resides in harmony, adaptation, and knowledge passed carefully through time. Africa's hidden energy network, as Traoré reveals, is not merely a curiosity or an archaeological find. It is a living, evolving system with the potential to reshape the continent's future. It embodies centuries of knowledge, observation, and innovation, combining natural forces, cultural wisdom, and technological adaptation. For generations, custodians have maintained its delicate balance, ensuring continuity even in the face of colonial interference, political upheaval, and environmental challenges. And yet, despite its resilience, this network has remained largely invisible, concealed from the eyes of outsiders and even many Africans themselves. Traoré emphasizes that the network's power lies not only in its technical capabilities, but in the philosophy behind it. Energy is treated as a living, dynamic force, intimately connected to the land, the people, and the ecosystems that sustain them. Unlike industrial grids, which prioritize output over harmony, Africa's network prioritizes balance, efficiency, and sustainability. It is a system that grows, adapts, and regenerates, capable of responding to changes in the environment, community needs, and technological advancements without collapse. It embodies a principle that modern society is only beginning to grasp, that resilience, longevity, and abundance come not from domination, but from alignment with natural rhythms. In practical terms, the network allows communities to achieve a level of self-sufficiency that defies conventional assumptions about Africa's energy dependency. Villages, towns, and even urban zones can operate independently of imported fuels or centralized grids, generating and managing power locally while maintaining connectivity across regions. This independence enables investment in education, healthcare, agriculture, and local industry, transforming energy into a foundation for sustainable development. Traoré documents cases where communities, once reliant on external aid or unstable grids, now thrive economically and socially thanks to the hidden network, demonstrating the profound impact of energy autonomy. The geopolitical implications are equally significant. For decades, Western influence over African economies has been reinforced by the perception of energy scarcity. By revealing the network, Traoré challenges this narrative, suggesting that Africa could redefine its role on the global stage. Energy independence could allow nations to negotiate from strength, export surplus power, and reduce reliance on foreign corporations. However, Traoré warns that such a transition must be carefully managed to protect custodians, preserve knowledge, and prevent exploitation. The network's value lies not only in the energy it provides, but in the wisdom embedded within it. A wisdom that, if lost or misused, could not easily be replaced. One of the most remarkable aspects of this hidden network is its adaptability. In regions where colonial powers attempted to dismantle or appropriate sections of the system, the network responded by rerouting flows, isolating vulnerable nodes, or concentrating energy in protected zones. This ability to self-correct demonstrates a level of foresight and engineering intelligence rarely seen in conventional systems. It is not just a network of conduits and currents. It is a system of resilience, capable of anticipating threats and adjusting to preserve both function and integrity. Traoré also highlights the integration of modern technology as a path forward. By strategically combining sensors, storage nodes, and monitoring systems with the network's indigenous structures, communities can enhance efficiency, predict maintenance needs, and expand capacity without compromising its natural balance. Solar collectors, microturbines, and digital controls can be harmonized with subterranean conduits, geomagnetic lines, and river flows, creating a hybrid energy system that is both ancient in principle and cutting-edge in performance. Such integration demonstrates that Africa's energy future does not need to mimic Western models. It can innovate by building on its own foundation of knowledge. Culturally, the network fosters cohesion, continuity, and identity. The flow of energy is intertwined with rituals, oral histories, and communal stewardship, linking generations through shared responsibility and knowledge. Villagers, engineers, and elders do not merely consume energy. They nurture it, guiding flows, maintaining channels, and teaching the next generation the principles of sustainability, adaptation, and respect for the land. In this way, the network is more than an infrastructure. It is a living symbol of African ingenuity, resilience, and self-determination. The environmental benefits of the network are equally profound. Unlike industrial grids, which can disrupt ecosystems, produce pollution, and accelerate resource depletion, Africa's hidden system works in harmony with nature. Rivers, aquifers, soils, plants, and even microorganisms all play a role in energy storage and transmission. Communities that rely on the network report healthier crops, more stable climates, richer biodiversity, and reduced environmental degradation. Traoré stresses that this approach offers lessons not only for Africa, but for the world. Sustainable energy is possible when systems are designed to complement, rather than dominate, natural processes. Historically, the network demonstrates that African civilizations were far more technologically advanced than colonial narratives suggest. The Mali Empire, Great Zimbabwe, and Swahili city-states, among others, harnessed these systems to power cities, agriculture, trade, and metallurgy. European observers frequently dismissed such feats as superstition or primitive engineering, erasing knowledge of their true technological sophistication. Traoré's research restores that history, showing that Africa's mastery of energy is not a modern phenomenon. It is a continuum of innovation and expertise maintained over centuries. Traoré's work culminates in a vision for Africa's future, a continent fully aware of its hidden capabilities, empowered by indigenous knowledge, and capable of leading in sustainable energy innovation. By carefully documenting, preserving, and integrating the network with modern systems, Africa could achieve energy independence, economic resilience, and ecological harmony simultaneously. It is a future where energy is abundant, sustainable, and rooted in the wisdom of generations. A future that challenges global assumptions and redefines what is possible. Yet this vision depends on action. Custodians must be protected, knowledge must be transmitted responsibly, and communities must be empowered to manage their own energy futures. Only by recognizing the network, valuing its custodians, and harmonizing it with contemporary technology can Africa fully realize the potential Traoré has uncovered. The hidden energy flows beneath the continent are a gift, a blueprint, and a call to embrace innovation while honoring tradition. As this story comes to a close, the lesson is clear. Africa's energy power has never truly been absent. It has only been hidden, overlooked, or suppressed. Traoré's revelations challenge long-held assumptions about scarcity, dependency, and technological inferiority, revealing a continent capable of extraordinary energy mastery, resilience, and self-determination. The network is alive, dynamic, and ready to illuminate Africa's future, if its people and leaders have the vision, courage, and respect to harness it. So as we reflect on this incredible journey beneath the surface of the continent, remember that the energy of Africa is not just in its sun, rivers, or wind. It is in the knowledge, innovation, and perseverance of its people. And this story is far from over. If you found this revelation as eye-opening as Traoré's research, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into hidden histories, groundbreaking discoveries, and untold stories from around the world. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, and share this video with friends who want to see the Africa that has always been powerful, resilient, and ahead of its time. The secrets of the continent are waiting. Let's uncover them together.